No one wanted Google+, but Google spent $500 million trying to make you love it. They were wrong. Everyone at Google, from Sergey Brin down to the junior product manager, was convinced they understood social. They'd seen Facebook's meteoric rise, MySpace's spectacular flameout, and believed they had the secret sauce. What they created instead was a digital ghost town. This isn't just a story about a failed product. It's a cautionary tale about corporate hubris, the perils of forced adoption, and the staggering cost of misreading your audience. Google+ wasn't merely a flop. It was an existential crisis for a company that prided itself on understanding the internet. Launched in June 2011, Google+ emerged from a deeply competitive landscape. Facebook was already a colossus, Twitter was gaining traction, and the social web felt, to many, already saturated. But Google, with its vast resources and engineering might, believed it could still carve out a significant slice. Their ambition wasn't subtle. Google+ wasn't just another social network. It was envisioned as a fundamental layer that would integrate across all Google services. A single identity to rule them all, knitting together Gmail, YouTube, Maps, and search into one cohesive social experience. The project was codenamed Emerald Sea, a name that evokes grand voyages and uncharted territories. Indeed, Google saw itself embarking on a new frontier, determined to correct what they perceived as Facebook's missteps in privacy and user control. They focused heavily on circles. Circles allowed users to segment their contacts into custom groups: family, work colleagues, gaming buddies. The idea was to give users granular control over who saw what, a direct response to Facebook's often criticized privacy settings. On paper, it sounded brilliant, but the execution was cumbersome. Setting up circles felt like a chore, an extra layer of management that most users simply didn't want. They valued convenience over meticulous privacy controls, especially when their primary social connections were already established elsewhere. Another key feature was Hangouts, a video conferencing tool that predated Zoom's ubiquity. It was genuinely innovative for its time, offering multi-person video calls with screen sharing. Many businesses and tech-savvy individuals adopted it, seeing its potential. However, these innovative features were often overshadowed by Google's aggressive, almost coercive, integration strategy. They weren't just inviting users to Google+, they were dragging them in, kicking and screaming, by linking it to almost everything else Google offered. Perhaps the most notorious example was the forced integration with YouTube. In 2013, Google mandated that all YouTube comments had to be made through a Google+ profile. This decision sparked a furious backlash, alienating creators and viewers alike. Users who'd built their YouTube identities over years suddenly found themselves tethered to a social network they didn't use. Often with real names they preferred to keep separate from their online personas. It felt like an invasion, a cynical attempt to inflate user numbers. The strategy backfired spectacularly. YouTube comments became a wasteland of complaints about Google+, filled with users demanding the old system back. It was a clear demonstration that you can't force social interaction. It has to be organic, desired. Google's real names only policy also proved controversial. While intended to foster a more civil online environment, it alienated communities that valued anonymity, such as LGBTQ+ users, political dissidents, and even some gamers who preferred pseudonyms. This policy, coupled with a clunky interface and a general lack of a compelling unique selling proposition beyond its Google's social network, meant that despite millions of sign-ups, engagement remained woefully low. People had accounts, but they weren't using them. The internal culture at Google also played a significant role. The company was famously data-driven, often prioritizing metrics over human intuition. They saw the numbers, sign-ups, and convinced themselves that Google+ was a success, even as the anecdotes screamed failure. There was also an undeniable not invented here syndrome. Google had bought other social platforms like Orkut and JQ, but they never truly integrated them or built on their strengths. They always preferred to build their own, from scratch, believing their way was superior. By 2015, The cracks were undeniable. Vic Gundatra, the head of Google+, departed, and the platform was restructured, losing its unified identity. It was split into streams for news feeds and photos as a standalone service, effectively admitting the original vision had failed. The final nail in the coffin came in October 2018. A data breach exposing the profile data of up to 500,000 users, along with revelations of other privacy flaws, sealed its fate. Google announced that the consumer version of Google+ would be shut down. The breach, discovered in March 2018 but not disclosed publicly until October, highlighted a deeper issue of neglect and a lack of investment in security. It was a humiliating end for a platform meant to be Google's answer to the social web. The cost of Google+'s failure is difficult to quantify precisely, but estimates suggest hundreds of millions, possibly over $500 million, were poured into its development, marketing, and upkeep. A staggering sum for a product that never found its footing. What lessons can we draw from the spectacular collapse of Google+? Firstly, even tech giants with unlimited resources can fail spectacularly when they misunderstand user behavior and market dynamics. Innovation isn't just about building, it's about connecting. Secondly, forced adoption rarely works. Users resent being strong-armed into new platforms, especially when alternatives exist. A product must earn its place in people's lives, not demand it. Finally, the story of Google+ serves as a stark reminder that in the volatile world of tech, even the most powerful companies are not immune to hubris, miscalculation, and ultimately, failure. It's a humbling lesson etched in the digital graveyard of forgotten platforms. Next, we'll examine how a simple typo cost one company